guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to a late night horror review. Today I think we're going to be doing the first in an extreme sort of horror week. So we'll be looking at some sort of extreme films because I've not done one this year. And tonight we're looking at a French Belgium mixed sort of extreme film called Calvaire, which has been released by Arrow Video. So before we go any further, let's have a look at the edition. So here we are, guys. Here is the Arrow Video release of Calvaire, the sort of Belgium French extreme horror film. I believe it is. I've not seen it before, so it's the first time watch for me. But it got some raving reviews from Mark Commode, who I really like, and we have a similar taste in films. So here it is. It comes in a nice slipcase with the synopsis and tells you about the special features in this set. Obviously it's going to be the same on the slipcase as the box. Inside the box we have the film with the original artwork. I've seen this poster of Calvaire around quite different places. It comes with a postcard for Excalibur, and it comes with a booklet, which I've got to be careful that I'm not going to be showing you any sort of pictures that's going to spoil the film. But it comes with essays and images from the film, as well as like about the restoration of this film. It's a nice booklet. It goes back in there. So that is the physical release of Calvaire. So it's a lovely edition once again from Arrow Video. Really cool. They do really nice sort of, like when they go to town, when it's a big title, they do their collector's editions, which are the big boxed with slipcase and etc. But then they also do the limited edition ones, which are these sort of standard ones like this, but comes with a slipcase and a booklet. So they're really cool, and these are more reasonably priced. I think this was about £18. But is there any special features? So this is the main menu for Calvary, and your special features on here are audio commentaries with Fabrice de Wells and Manuel de Melamista, Fabrice de Wells 2005, and BJ, that's unfortunate, and Harmony Halagolo. We have interviews with Fabrice de Wells in 2004 and 2023. The feminine mystique of Calvary. The appreciation by film scholar Willow Kathleen Maclay from 2025. Auteur de Calvary. Oops, careful. That's gone into our film. We don't want that. Theatrical grade version, storyboards, casting tapes, production bible, A Wonderful Love, and trailers, and image gallery. And in your setup we have French 5.1, and in your subtitles we have English. So we'll have the English subtitles on. So that is your special features on Calvary. Of course, it's Arrow. There's a number of special features on this film. With sort of commentaries, interviews, makings of, etc. So let's get to the story. So this film is it's a strange one. It's about a singer called Mark Stevens, played by Lawrence Lucas, and at the beginning of the film he's singing at this old people's sort of home, and and it's very strange. We meet Bridget, played by Mademoiselle Vicky, and no, Mademoiselle Vicky played by Bridget Leia, that's it. And she's like this old woman, and he sings to her sort of like, and sort of serenades her a little bit, and she comes to the dressing room afterwards and tries it on with him. She's about 70 odd, and she puts his hand on her nether regions and that, and he's shocked. Anyway, so he leaves this venue, and then we meet Madame Langhoff, who's played by Gigi. Or it could be the other way around. Actually, yeah, Mademoiselle Vicky is the owner who fancies him, and Madame Langhoff is the old woman. Anyway, so we meet Vicky, and she's also trying it on with him. But he's off in his van to go away for Christmas to a Christmas gala. It's based at Christmas time. And he's got this old banger of a van. And then he sets off on his journey across France, I believe, to some gala. But then his van breaks down on the way. And he stops off at a really weird place, not far from this little village and this hotel, or inn, if you will, called in Bartel. And we meet Boris on the way, played by Jean-Luc Gouchard, and he is looking for his dog, so he said, but he's a nut job, an absolute nutcase. And then he manages to take him to, because these vans broke down, he takes him to the hotel Bartel, and we meet Bartel, played by Jackie Barrera, and he's another nutcase. And he's stumbled across this whole place of mad people. Bartel comes across as quite sane at first and says he's going to help him with the van. And then there's a delay with the mechanic and all this sort of stuff, so he has to stay. And Mark goes off for a walk, and whilst on his walk he comes to this barn where he sees local villagers in there performing acts of bestiality on a cow. So that shocks him, and he heads back to Bartel, saying, look, when's this going to be fixed? And Bartel is sort of like, says he used to be a comedian and starts telling him jokes and wants him to sing to him. Bartel used to be married to a woman called Gloria. We don't see Gloria. Anyway, Bartel thinks Mark is Gloria, and he wrecks his van and then knocks him out and then dresses him up as a woman. And then Mark is subjected to Bartel's sort of seductive ways, if you like, and he's sort of tied up and he is being used by him. And we see that Boris is also a family member. And we got the bit round the dinner table, a bit like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So he is mixed up with these people. And Bartel goes to the local pub and tells the locals to stay away. But they don't. Then they go and sort of like attack Boris and Bartel at the house. So then it turns into a film a bit like Straw Dogs. And then the film sort of unfolds, and I won't tell you what happens because I want you to watch it and find out. So let's get to the characters. So the characters are really cool. They're really well acted. I really like Bartel, played by Jackie, is it Beroya? He's fantastic. I mean, the main character, Mark, he's a bit of a, he's not really the main character. He's there for like a bit of cannon fodder, but he is your main character. But all the other characters are really, really cool, including Boris, who plays like this sort of backwards sort of like young man looking for this dog that turns out to be a cow. And all these sort of crazy things happen. So let's get to the final verdict. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a really cool film. I'm going to score it a 9 out of 10. It doesn't get a 10 out of 10 because it doesn't go far enough for me. It is extreme in a way of like uncomfortableness and the things that you don't see that you know that are happening. It deals with bestiality. It deals with male rape. Obviously, when the town people come to the town, they rape Mark and all this sort of thing goes on. And you're wondering also, did Bartel do this to Mark as well? And there's quite some extreme sort of disturbing scenes in the film. Not too much on the gore side, just disturbing in the way you think this is foul and this poor guy's just stumbled across this place on his way to wherever he's doing. So it's extreme in that sort of sense. It's really well acted. It looks quite nice. There is grain in the film, but it looks really cool. I really enjoyed it. I believe it's been out quite a while now. I think it's early 2000s, this film. And it's a part of the sort of French extreme kind of film. Not as extreme as some of them, but it does have, like I said, it plays with your brain, and I love that. Really cool. Check it out. Massive shout out to my lad. See you soon, guys.